Well, right now we'd just like to cross over, and Barclays Bank Kenya has officially rebranded to ABSA Kenya following the regulatory and shareholders' approval. The bank will now start trading under the ticker ABK at the Nairobi Security Exchange, and Brenda Kerubo is live at the bourse where she has the very latest.
And especially in February, which is the month of love. So we hope that Kenyans will fall in love with ABSA. The name Barclays has been synonymous with banking in Kenya. And I was just telling Charles, whom I happened to work with 20 years ago, that there's probably nobody our age who's never banked with Barclays. You know, at one point, the only bank we knew was Barclays. And we hope that the young Kenyans going forward, the only bank they will know will be ABSA. So changes are always good, and it is very good to see, you know, this change from the blue color to the red. And, you know, you can see all of us today came branded. But maybe is just to say, Jeff and I attended a conference 3 weeks ago, the UK African Summit. During that conference, the whole discussion was about, of course, about Africa. But what really came out clearly was that by 2050, one person out of 4 on Earth will be an African. What then that means is the opportunities that abound in Africa. Africa, you know, one of the richest continents, and of course, even here when we talk about Kenya. So the opportunities in Africa will be huge and immense. But when we talk about that, we still talk about that we only contribute 1% of the 1-point-something% of the world's GDP. So what this means is that there will be need for a lot of investments in this continent, and of course Kenya. Investments, huge need for financing in terms of infrastructure, power, water, agriculture. And what happens today is that a lot of this financing currently is being done by foreign banks. You know, out of the top 10 banks in the world, there's the 4 Chinese banks, maybe a Japanese bank, some American banks, and also, maybe a few banks from Europe. So there's great opportunity for banks and big banks in Africa. And of course, also in Kenya, where we have got 43 banks. And this name change, we hope that ABSA will be able to refocus its efforts towards, supporting the developmental goals of Africa and of Kenya. And especially for us also, as I talk about infrastructure, we have got the Big 4 agenda, big opportunities there in housing, manufacturing, health, agriculture, our SME sector, starved of, we have not been having, the financing, there's a big financing gap. For the last 2 years, of course, they have, the funding to this sector dried up with the interest rate caps, which have then been repealed. And I actually saw in yesterday's paper, was it in yesterday's paper, where the governor of the central bank was appealing to Jeremy to continue financing this sector. As at the NSC, and our CEO did say that, we pride ourselves for being innovative. We are one of the most, we are the largest market within this region. And last year, we were the best performing exchange in Africa, with $2.5 trillion and with ABSA, contributing $71 billion. We have 12 products right now, and some of them you know about, the REITs, the Makiba. ABSA actually did a product with us, the gold ETF, 2 years ago. Not very active, but we hope you will come up with more products. And we have recently upgraded our system so that we are able to offer you seamless services. We have got one of the best system, the same system that runs at the London Stock Exchange. So once again, I'd like to congratulate ABSA and welcome you all to the NSC. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Mr. Chairman. You know, I look around this room and I see people I went to school with. James Degwa, a couple of years ahead of me. Jeremy Awori, a couple of years behind me. One's a CEO, MD, the other's chairman. What happened to me? I mean, what went wrong? I think that was the headline in one of the papers today. What went, anyway, that's another story. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage the chairman himself, as in chairman of the Capital Markets Authority, my good friend James P.M. Ndegwa.
Jeff, because we're on live TV, I won't say, but the chairman and the vice chairman, the chief executive of the NSC, the chief executive and the deputy chief executive of ABSA Group, chairman, board members, and the CEO of ABSA Kenya PLC, ABSA Bank Kenya PLC, distinguished guests, colleagues from the Capital Markets Authority, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the Capital Markets Authority, the board, the management and staff, I'm delighted to be here today to witness yet another milestone in our market. The formal changeover from BBK, a well-respected trading stock ticker at the NSE, to ABSA. The overall transition from Barclays to ABSA has been a carefully managed and well-executed process that has taken several years. And with the unveiling and rebranding that took place last week, and now this change in ticker name, we congratulate you on this successful completion. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that ABSA Bank Kenya PLC can trace its history back to 1916, when the National Bank of South Africa opened a branch in Mombasa. That institution merged with others to form Barclays Bank, which was incorporated locally in 1978. And importantly for us here at the exchange, in 1986, Barclays Bank of Kenya became the first commercial bank in Kenya to offer its shares to the public. With slightly over 5.43 billion shares offered to date, just over 31% of the stock of ABSA Bank Kenya is held by the public. I must express the CMA's appreciation to the board and management of what was Barclays Bank Kenya for supporting the growth of Kenya's capital markets. As one of the key counters at the NSE, in its various other guises in the capital markets, I am confident that ABSA Bank Kenya will continue to play its important and various roles in deepening our capital markets. In that regard, I think it's significant that in the recent ABSA Financial Markets Index report, Kenya's financial market was ranked third out of 20 countries. And I also note with delight that after the Central Bank of Kenya's non-objection, the Barclays, now ABSA's future contract, is the latest single stock offering on the NSE's derivatives market. The contract is expected to offer a hedging opportunity for investors and, by extension, price discovery for the underlying security. Now, of course, what would really excite the market would be offering more shares to the public and additional participation of ownership in ABSA Bank Kenya. And apart from being a wonderful opportunity for investors, such a move would further cement ABSA's identity and standing in the country. So please consider. Ladies and gentlemen, the authority is committed towards innovative solutions in both regulating and developing our capital markets. Among these solutions has been the introduction of a regulatory sandbox concept where companies can test innovative solutions in a controlled environment. To this end, to date, we have admitted 3 companies in the program, and they have made very good progress. I think some will come into formal regulation soon. and are currently reviewing several other applications. It is also no secret that the bourse has struggled to attract new listings, and daily trading is dominated by a handful of few large firms. This is reflected in the fact that about 75% of the total capitalization of the NSE is accounted for by about just 10% of the listed companies. Positively, however, I am glad that the IBUCA program, initiated by the NSE, is achieving momentum with about 22 firms on board, and those are moving on the journey towards listing. Allow me, therefore, to use this opportunity to highlight some of the key areas that the authority is working on outside of new products and services that will further support the facilitation of growth and development of our capital markets with respect to product uptake. First, we are working with the National Treasury to introduce several policy proposals pertaining to taxation, listing requirements, and other incentives aimed at encouraging and facilitating more listings. Secondly, and in line with our current strategic plan, we are working towards realigning our organization structure to effectively address the uptake of capital market products in a robust and impactful manner. I would urge ABSA in that regard to take advantage of its various licenses and offer leadership in providing solutions. That's a note to ABSA. Thirdly, and following up on previous studies that sought to address the effectiveness of investor education initiatives, we are in the process of finalizing a white paper for submission to the National Treasury aimed at setting out the basis for informing investor education policy and strategies for Kenya's capital markets, as well as to enable the CMA contribute ideas to the Kenya National Consumer Financial Education Policy and Strategy. And finally, as you may have heard, in addition to the implementation of a more robust more robust events, such as the Business Accelerator and Incubator Fora on the listing experience and IBUCA program, the authority has been collaborating with intermediaries in conducting one-on-one potential issuer visits to sell and facilitate the listing process at a more personal and individual level. These various initiatives are in line with the Capital Markets Master Plan that charts the strategic direction and positioning of Kenya's capital markets over the 10-year period from 2014 to 2023. It's worth noting that the master plan recognizes the importance of SMEs and listings under its second pillar, that is infrastructure of markets, and is therefore committed to increasing listings and facilitative regulation to assist potential issuers in coming to the market. By 2023, the Capital Markets Master Plan envisages that 30% of county financing should be done through the capital markets. Currently, county development is entirely funded by the Exchequer. The plan also proposes to triple the participation of the market in infrastructure investment from today's 300 billion shillings to 900 billion shillings. So as I conclude, I would urge you to support us in these initiatives, to take up the opportunities presented, and to be our ambassadors in helping both potential issuers and investors realize the benefits and growth potential that can be achieved via the capital markets. Today's event is certainly a key event in influencing other companies to list, given the fine example of growth, solid performance, and success achieved by BBK, now ABSA, at the NSE. Congratulations, and please keep it up. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Just to ask you to keep tweeting. We're live, and the hashtag is #WeAreABSA. Thank you very much for those remarks, Chairman of the CMA. Something you said really captivated me, which was recalling our history from generation to generation, and that was reiterated by the Chairman of the NSE, Mr. Samuel Kimani. And your request for more shares will be carefully considered, and that's a very good way to segue to the man who can carefully consider that request. The CEO and Managing Director of ABSA Bank Kenya PLC, Mr. Jeremy Awori. Jeremy, please.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. It's my distinct pleasure to stand here before you on this memorable day for us as an institution. But before I start my remarks, I just want to share a story. And a few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of visiting a small village called Chelbulbul. Many of you might not know of Chelbulbul. It's in Elgeyo Marakwet County. And there's a primary school there called Chelbulbul Primary School. And next to that primary school is where many of our great athletes are training, including none other than Eliud Kipchoge. And it was interesting just going there because you feel it's a typical village. You feel the warmth, you feel the welcome, you feel the opportunity. But just walking on the track where these greats train, you can't help but feel the strong sense of determination, tenacity, and resilience. And out of this small village rose Eliud. And we all know what Eliud has done. He has broken world records. He's been the first man to run a marathon under 2 hours. And I had the honor of speaking to him and engaging him. And what struck me was he still felt he had a lot more that he could do. And you know his statement, which is, no human is limited. And he has that go-getter spirit, which is really represented not just in the athletes, but within that community. And I think that's a very distinct Kenyan spirit that we have. And that spirit is very much linked to the inspiration that we have as the ABSA brand, which is a brand whose purpose is really around bringing possibilities to life. And we're dedicating ourselves to continue connecting dreams and aspirations of the Kenyan people to the financial resources that are needed to accomplish those dreams. Now, delivering on that bold mission requires, on the one hand, a deep understanding of the market, and on the other hand, agility and scale to adapt to the fast pace of consumer needs and the changes in those needs, and providing the necessary financial solutions to those needs. And I cannot think of a better time than now to deliver on that promise and combine the best of our century-long past experience with new cutting-edge technologies, innovating products, and now a vibrant new brand, ABSA. Now, throughout our transition process, which led to today, we've really looked at the customer as being the center of everything we do. And if we're going to thrive and succeed, we need our customers to thrive and succeed. And we have spent a lot of time talking to our customers, whether it's talking to traders in Gikomba market, talking to customers upcountry, talking to SME customers, talking to personal customers, with a view to understanding what they want. And we've had very candid conversations with them around what they feel banking and financial institutions should be providing them to help them achieve their goals, their dreams, and their aspirations. And we've taken to heart a lot of the feedback they've given us, and that is informing our products and strategies that we're executing as we speak. We have already a few examples of things we have implemented in the last few months, which hopefully will start having an impact to those very customers. And to give a few examples, we've relaunched some of our SME propositions to include unsecured loans of up to 10 million. We have LPO financing and discounting of up to 50 million. And then in the next few days, we're going to be making further announcements around how we will be able to support the SME segment, which is a mainstay of this economy here in Kenya and critical for our future growth. Just over 2 weeks ago, we launched Kenya's first vertical credit card and debit card. And what this does is it offers increased convenience, as well as a whole bunch of benefits such as discounts from retail outlets, as well as rewards. And it also has the contactless tap and go feature, which really makes for an even more seamless customer experience. To boost the government's core agenda item of affordable housing, we've invested in our mortgage business and mortgage products. Today, we're proud to say we have what we believe is arguably the best priced mortgage product at 11.75%, and we're encouraging people to own their own homes and achieve that dream of being able to have and live in their own home. We recognize that micro finance is a core area that is critical to many SMEs, to the mamambogas, to the people who are hustling here in Kenya. And we introduced our new mobile app, which offers a whole range of facilities. That app is called Timiza. It allows you to open an account online. It allows you to save. It allows you to buy insurance as well as to borrow. And it allows you to run your business whilst doing your banking on the go. Now, as a bank, we're very committed to digitization and automation of our processes. And this is not for just digitization for its own sake. This is to make sure that we make your banking experiences easier, faster, and better, and more convenient for you. And you can expect to see more innovations coming through. We'll soon be launching an ABSA chatbot, which is a virtual assistant that allows customers to get answers to their frequently asked questions. We'll be launching My SME Toolkit that allows SME owners to be able to perform important functions online, such as cash flow management and planning. And we've recently upgraded our ABSA mobile banking platform, which allows customers more convenience by using fingerprint and facial recognition technology to gain access to their accounts. One thing that we're very excited about as we make this transition is we are transitioning from being a bank to being a holistic financial services institution. And that provides a range of financial products. So we have our banking products, which most people are familiar with. We have ABSA Securities Limited, which does both investment banking and brokerage services. We've recently been issued a license for ABSA Asset Management, and we'll be working very closely with the capital markets and the NSE to launch new investment products that customers can actually use as alternatives to their portfolios. So you can expect to see more of those announcements in short order. We're very excited to be part of one of Africa's largest financial groups, the ABSA Group, which is present in 12 African countries and offers global scale with presence in London, New York, and other offices. This business has a large footprint with over 1,000 branches, over 10,000 ATMs, and a workforce of 40,000 people. And those are the very people who are going to bring possibilities to life. Here in Kenya, we're building on a rich heritage, as has been said and spoken about already. An innovative heritage, a trusted financial partner, and as a company, we have a very strong commitment to young people. because we understand by investing in them, we're securing the future of our nation. Over the last few years, we have worked through our Ready to Work program and empowered 160,000 young people and provided 2,500 placement opportunities and internships. And we're working with the government on another 10,000 internship programs. So as we enter this new era that's starting from today, you can expect to see a new energy, a new vibrancy of our new ABSA brand, and this will take us to new levels. Our customers can expect to see a more forward-looking, digitally led bank that is committed to offering world-class service. And as a brand, we're inspired by the African continent and its people. Ours is a continent of doers, always going above and beyond to get things done. In ABSA, we call that Africanacity. We recognize and celebrate the spirit as an organization. We're committed to always continuing to work together with our customers to find new ways of getting things done. Ladies and gentlemen, as I look into the future, I'm filled with excitement and optimism. We have a solid strategy in place which is designed to deliver growth of our business by growing with our customers. We'll continue to execute this strategy in order to deliver strong returns for our investors and, more importantly, play our rightful role in the Kenyan economy. I'd like to conclude with a big thank you, number one, to all our customers who have supported us throughout the years, to our partners for their loyal support throughout this process, and a big thank you to our regulators, including the Central Bank of Kenya, the Capital Markets Authority, and also the NSE, who are hosting us this morning, for their leadership and support throughout this transition process. And it has made it very seamless. And I know there's been many teams working behind the scenes leading up to today. In the next few weeks, we shall be making a number of announcements. Our commitment is to new products, new solutions, and an exciting new banking and financial services experience. So again, I end by thanking the NSE for hosting us here today. We want to paint the town red starting from today. We have an exciting agenda and program that I can't think of any other place to kick it off than the NSE. So I want to thank you for all coming. Asanteni sana for listening, and let's start the celebrations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jeremy, the CEO and Managing Director of ABSA Bank Kenya PLC. It must have been a wonderful time spending time with our hero in Chibulbul, who I think represents the same strength and character that I see in so many of our young brothers and sisters across the country, especially the young people. And the young people who ABSA is open and welcoming to work with and to partner with from all walks of life. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have with us today the Board of Directors of ABSA Bank Kenya PLC. If you allow me, I'll just acknowledge their presence, starting with Ms. Winnie Ouko, Ms. Patricia Idao, Dr. Leila Masharia, and then on my left, Mr. Ashok Shah, Mr. Louis Otieno, and Mr. Jeff Olende, led by our chairman, Mr. Charles Musheni. It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Charles Musheni, the chairman of ABSA Bank Kenya PLC, to make his remarks. Chairman, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a great day this is. Certainly for us at ABSA, it's really exciting because this is the culmination of a process that we've been going through for a number of months. And this culminated in the change of our corporate name at the beginning of last week. We've changed now the name now to ABSA Bank Kenya PLC, and we've changed the color. But this is much more than change of name and change of color. It comes with new attitudes, and it comes with new mindsets. So even as we look back at where we have come from, we also look forward with a lot of excitement at what the future holds. And so I'm really delighted to have all of you here to join us in this celebration. So the success of this rebranding could not have come had it not been for the invaluable support of our loyal customers and the countless days of hard work by colleagues. And I thank them very much for that. Indeed, we can achieve a lot when we work together, and that is the spirit we are celebrating here today as ABSA, the unique determination, fortitude, and passion to always find ways to get things done. That is what defines us as Kenyans, and it's the biggest inspiration behind our new brand. This transition is as much about the new era as it is a celebration of a heritage of over 100 years of serving Kenyans. So let me spend a few minutes talking about that. Since we pitched tent in Mombasa in 1916, we have become a bank of many firsts. For example, in 1951, we completed the tallest bank in East Africa whose looks and beauty literally rendered Nairobi breathless. That building was named Queensway House, and it came with modern facilities that had not been seen on these shows before. And those facilities included such things as fluorescent lighting, a lift, and there were actually automatic telephones then. Continuing with the trailblazing trend, we became the first Kenyan bank in the first bank in Kenya to appoint an African to the position of a manager, and that was in 1963. That person was Mr. Peter Nyakiamo. We expected him here. I don't know whether he made it or not, but we're really delighted that he is a trailblazer. Further illuminating the rich pages of our history, we became the first bank to have a woman supervisor by the name Agatha Obare, who was promoted to that position in 1972. But it was the 1977 appointment of Mrs. Mary Okello to the position of branch manager, and she was in fact the first African woman to hold such a position on the whole continent. This is what proved that the institution was serious about diversity and inclusion, and that's a theme and a culture that we have carried on since then. So for example, in 2014, we became the first listed bank in Kenya to have gender parity on its board. Another interesting fact from the past, and which is particularly important to this audience that we got here, is that in 1986, the bank floated 30% of its equity on the stock exchange. We were also the first ones to computerize. And if you think about ATMs, we were trailblazers in that area. I'm sure some of you who are old enough will remember the Lingala dancing robot ATM that had some moves that got the country into a dancing frenzy. So we have been leaders in this area for a long time, and that's a position that we want to hold on to and to continue building onto. So our communities will continue to enjoy the best of our past 100 years, as well as the best of new technologies, innovative products, and a differentiated service experience for the next 100 years and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a moment on that note to provide briefly some comments and to put some context on where or how we got to where we are right now. In 2018, our parent company, ABSA Group Limited, announced a decision to rebrand all its operations across the continent to ABSA. This followed a decision by Barclays PLC to reduce its shareholding in that entity to just under 15%, and the subsequent renaming of Barclays Africa Group to ABSA Group. This change, which we have managed very carefully over time to make sure that everything runs well, has given us an opportunity to roll out a new, fresh brand that is committed to supporting the ingenious, entrepreneurial, innovative, and indomitable spirit of the Kenyan people, and indeed the African people. On behalf of the board, I would like to assure you that we will work hand in hand with Jeremy and his team to continue implementing our strategy, which is built on customer obsession, becoming a digitally led bank, one that delivers growth to stakeholders, and a bank that is a force for good within our communities. I would like to assure all our shareholders that their investments in our business are sound and that they can look forward to even better returns as we continue to execute our strategy. In particular, I'd like to reassure our minority shareholders, and some of them might be present here, that the shareholding structure remains the same, and that as their chairman, I will continue to ensure that the business is cognizant of their interests, even as we change our name to ABSA. Ladies and gentlemen, as I come to the end of my comments, let me say that the decision to celebrate this milestone at the NSE is not a mere coincidence. Rather, it's a reflection of the great partnership we have enjoyed with the NSE, as well as the financial markets regulator, the capital markets authority in the past many years. And both the chairman of the NSE and the CMA have referred to that. We have worked very closely with the NSE in partnership with other organizations such as the Grasa Machel Trust, New Faces, New Voices, and the Kenya Institute of Management to advocate for gender balance in company boards through various initiatives. Further, we have partnered with the CMA in developing and rolling out current 5-year master plan, which has yielded great results in the growth and sophistication of our markets. For the last 2 years, we have published the African Financial Markets Index, which seeks to highlight investment opportunities and areas of growth in the African financial markets. This report has provided important insights that have formed the basis of policy changes and development plans across various African markets. Just 3 years ago, we became the first financial institution in the region to list an exchange-traded fund when we listed the new gold ETF. Today, despite what some might have said earlier, new gold ETF is among the best performing listed stocks at the NSE. Additionally, we have been partners in the NSE Charity Trading Day, an initiative that raises funds for the betterment of our communities. As we adopt our new identity as ABSA, our commitment is to continue proactively pursuing partnership opportunities that allow us to actively contribute towards making our country the financial center of choice in the continent, while continuing to be a positive contributor to our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the board and management of ABSA Kenya, I would like to once again give a big thank you to our regulators, both the CBK and the CMA, for their guidance through the transition, which has made the process seamless. We are also grateful to the ABSA Group, our majority shareholder, and the leadership headed by Daniel and Peter, for their unswerving support throughout the transition period. And that commitment is demonstrated by their presence here today. I'd like to also thank our distinguished shareholders, our loyal customers, as well as colleagues for their continued commitment and dedication to the success of our business. Our promise to you is that together we will build a bright future and bring endless possibilities to life. Kwa kifupi, mabibi na mabwana, tunapoanza huu mwamko mpya kama ABSA, tuna matumaini kwamba siku njema zaja. Tumeweka mipango ya kuhudumia wateja wetu upya, na siku zijazo mtasikia mengi kuhusu mikakati tuliyonayo. Kwa sasa wateja wetu wataendelea kupokea huduma zetu kwa njia za kupendeza zaidi, na tutaendelea kuboresha hizo huduma. Kwa wanyihisa wetu, mimi kama kinara wenu nawahakikishia kwamba hakuna mabadiliko yoyote katika hisa zenu, na tutaendelea kutilia maanani mahitaji yenu. Tumeweka mikakati ya kuendelea kuimarisha mazao yenu katika benki yenu. Sisi kama wakurugenzi wa ABSA tutaendelea kuungana mkono na wasimamizi wa biashara wakiongozwa na Jeremy Awori, na tunapoanza safari mpya kama ABSA, tunawaahidi ya kwamba tutaendelea kuwatumikia na kujitolea. Kwa niaba ya baraza la wakurugenzi wa benki ya ABSA Kenya, ningependa kuwashukuru kwa dhati wafanyikazi wetu, wateja wetu, wawekezaji wetu na washirika wetu wote kwa ushirikiano mkubwa kwa miaka mingi iliyopita. Tungewaomba tuendelee na ushirikiano huo kwenye siku za usoni, na matumaini yetu ni kuwa ushirikiano huo utaleta maendeleo kwa kila mmoja wetu binafsi, kwa jamii zetu